been a while. Weekly Armchair Sports Talk is back, fuckers. Weekly Steelchair podcast is back as well, and it's the Royal Rumble preview. Our time is definitely now. Fuck you, John Cena. Obviously, tonight, welcoming the owner of the channel, Keen. How are you?
Very good, and as always happy to be back on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk. It's great to be back, and look, as it says, the head of the table has returned.
I'll let you off with that once in a blue moon. Callum, welcome back to the channel. This is your second podcast in a row. You were on the last one as well, previously for Survivor Series. So how are you? And thank you for coming back on.
Two-time appearance maker. Very happy to be back. Very excited for tonight. Saturday night, so I don't need to worry about the Monday morning dreaded wake up. Very happy about that. So I cannot wait. Royal Rumble's the best one of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, especially since it's the road to WrestleMania. So great start, obviously. And before we do proceed with the show, he may not be watching, but just for the sake of his respect, commiserations to Vince McMahon. His mother passed away, aged 101 years old. Me to send out regards. Obviously, he may not be watching. He may never actually find out about this, but it's a respect thing. It's what you do. It's the right thing to do. So
he watches this in the prepare for his shows, doesn't he?
You're freaking better, because I'll give him all he needs. I'll give him all he needs. Tonight's circumstances, of course, is the Royal Rumble. We've lost Keane temporarily, but he shall be back. He'll probably do a better job than Arnold Schwarzenegger ever did. We may as well jump in with the most obvious question, Callum. The most obvious question I can ask: what is your favourite Royal Rumble match that you've witnessed?
Favourite? Oh, that's a good one. I loved it. Where was it? 2008 when John Cena returned. But I think my favourite ever one was actually one of the first wrestling DVDs I ever got. When I was younger, it was the Royal Rumble 2006 when Rey Mysterio won. It was just so emotional with Eddie Guerrero. You know, obviously he passed away. That was brilliant. The way Mysterio won as well was just so good. And I think the story leading up to WrestleMania with Randy Orton and Kurt Angle, I think everything just fell so perfectly. That was my favourite, I think, of all time. I loved it.
Yeah, I have to admit that was one of the few that I can distinctly remember watching as well. Like Sky Sports box office as it was back then, you no longer really get that anymore. Like, shame really. I can remember like just enjoying that Royal Rumble, although we did speak about this before on our previous show that we did way back at the start about the SmackDown 6. It was episode 2, and we spoke about the impact of Eddie Guerrero's death. If it hadn't been for that death, all due respect to Rey Mysterio, he would never have won that Royal Rumble.
No.
So
Shawn Michaels would have won it because they were planning on Eddie versus Shawn for the World Heavyweight title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And controversial opinion, Shawn Michaels would have won that by submission. Just to actually lay out the whole lie, cheat, steal. Just run around Eddie Guerrero's mantra. Cheat the guy by making him tap out. He hates losing by submission. Obviously, Keen, you've heard Callum speak about the 08 Rumble as his favourite. He also mentioned the 2006 one as a distinction. It was one of the earliest DVDs he owned. Just for yourself, what's your favourite Royal Rumble?
My favourite Royal Rumble, well, there's two that really stick out to me. I suppose my first Rumble I actually watched was 2001 when Stone Cold Steve Austin won the Royal Rumble. Obviously, he had that whole rivalry Triple H at the time, and Triple H, when he came out and attacked him, it looked like he wasn't going to win it. But what also stands out to me in that Rumble match was Kane's run. In that match, like Kane obviously had the record eliminations at that time, with the 11 eliminations, that was quite legendary. And he had cameo appearances by the Honky Tonk Man and Drew Carey, stuff like that. It was an absolute crazy Royal Rumble. And then obviously, I think my favorite one though, even though my favorite Royal Rumble memory would be probably Cena coming back, because I was a massive Cena fan at the time. But favorite Royal Rumble in terms of match quality and in terms of overall kind of stars in it, probably 2007 when Undertaker came out at number 30 and won. And just for a number of things, obviously Finley's run in that match was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, a fellow Irishman came out at number 3 or number 4 and he had a 30-40 minute stint in the match. It was very good. And for me also just seeing like kind of Khali come out and that his moment of kind of dominance, and then obviously Undertaker stopping that, but then like the 10-minute mini match between Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker, like, before obviously HBK was eliminated. Like that had all different events in the Royal Rumble match. If you want to ask me my least favorite Royal Rumble match, probably 2016. Probably my least favorite Rumble match, because we all knew Triple H was going to win it, and it was just, we all knew Roman, or they're trying to recreate like Stone Cold versus Mr. McMahon, in that storyline that time, and
yeah,
or well, maybe 2015 actually, because Daniel Bryan should have won that one, but.
It's a fair shout, yeah. There's fair few. For me, obviously, you've already mentioned 2001 will always stand out for me. It's not just my favourite, it's also, like, in my opinion, the greatest Royal Rumble. Like, nothing eclipses 2001. It's just up there for sheer quality, and just the entrance in that. You had the Hardys as well right at the beginning. You had Haku, Rikishi towards the end. You had Kane, The Rock. You had Stone Cold getting attacked by Triple H. Like, obviously, showing that he was going to win the Royal Rumble anyway, because if it hadn't been for that moment, he wouldn't have won it. You had the absolute hilarity that was Scotty Too Hotty.
One second, lads.
Mm-hmm. The pure hilarity of Scotty Too Hotty was just brilliant. Of just coming out like shitting himself, like just seeing Kane and the Undertaker going. It was just pure gold. And another one for me is for the sake of memory, 2007's been mentioned, but 2009, like just the whole the way that you saw Legacy just completely dismantle like Triple H at the end. Like, you think like the champion's he's gonna win the Rumble, but it was just the way they done like 2009. Randy Orton's first Royal Rumble win was pure excellent. It's just something about that always stand out. And a memory for me is obviously Edge the following year, 2010. Before we carry on, of course, because there is something I really want to ask about, and this is going to spark interesting opinions. Just going to come to two comments that are in the live chat. One from Andrew at 3, because Andrew's a trooper. Stood me up twice in a day. I get more luck on Tinder. Well, commiseration for that. You never know. Like, Tinder may have success, probably more success than, well, I don't know, Kane win the Royal Rumble. And of course, Vicky herself, who's been on the show before, who's also on All for United's women's podcast as well. Good evening to you as well. Hope you're doing well. Lads. Funniest Royal Rumble moment you've seen?
Santino Marella, straight away. I wasn't ready.
He was in and out quicker than a fart. That's how funny it was.
Literally, it was like 0.9 seconds or something like that. It wasn't even actually a second.
Yeah.
Effectively eliminate. I could I felt for him a little bit, but it was brilliant. That.
What about you, Keane?
Do you know what? Titus World Slide has to be there, don't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Titus World, like, sprinted out and then flying in under the ring. That was just absolutely hilarious.
I remember and I was crying with laughter. That was amazing.
I couldn't stop pissing myself. Was that funny? Just like you said, Titus Worldwide, Titus World Slide. Absolutely.
I think also as well, right? I know I mentioned the 01 Rumble, but remember when Honky Tonk Man came out singing this song? Kane grabs his guitar and absolutely fucking smashed him with it.
He just comes out and he's like, "Fuck you, mate!" Like, out you go. I thought Drew Carey was the absolute highlight of that Rumble. Like, his elimination. You just see him. He looks at Kane dead on. He's like, he just gets on the turnbuckle and he's like,
Do you know what's another good one? Karma. Karma. When Mike eliminated Michael Cole.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I remember that.
That was a beautiful moment. Like, pure, absolute humor. And then obviously the most bizarre moment has got to be Vince McMahon injuring himself.
Oh, the end, yeah. I tell you what, he's a bloody trooper though. He turning both his quads and still being angry. Like, that shows like what a bloody warrior the guy is.
Vince McMahon to a T. I've broke my quads. Get on with my Rumble. Like, chill it up, man. Chill it. Comments and from here from Niall. Even Reece, sorry, message, I fell asleep this evening and just woke up seeing it's not going into detail, but I will say I agree with you, buddy. Yeah, that's because I called out for somebody cheating on a quiz. What can I say? I like fair play. Vicky's asking a question. What was the Rumble that doesn't get enough credit? I think 2020. Yeah, 2020 is a fair shout. I think if you actually want to think about credit in a Royal Rumble, I would say 2002. I think 2002.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect coming back in that Rumble. They had this Triple H story and Angle story and stuff like that. That was an underrated Rumble.
Yeah, I think that one doesn't get enough credit. And another one for me is,
Mine would be,
I think,
when Edge won.
Yeah,
I suppose that one, Callum, did you have the whole Michael story, like wanting to challenge the Undertaker, like because he wanted to get his rematch, and you had that whole storyline through the match, and he even portrayed Triple H and everything in that Rumble as well.
That storytelling was so good though, because you genuinely believe that Michaels was so angry at everyone, and he was so angry because he didn't beat the Undertaker, and he really believed that he should have done the year before. I think it was two absolute legends and such experience in the ring together that they knew exactly how to tell the story. I mean, that was amazing, and it was so perfect. And the fact that it all kind of came together in that Royal Rumble to lead it off into WrestleMania. Yeah, it was so good. But Vicky's right. I think that 2020 was really good. I think Edge's win in 2010 was such a. He's kind of almost forgotten about. I think a lot of people seem to forget because I think maybe because he lost at WrestleMania that year. So was it Del Rio, I believe.
Chris Jericho, he lost.
Not Del Rio, sorry.
Del Rio won it the following year, and he lost Edge in the opening match, which is a disgrace. Like that was a disgrace.
Yeah, probably years mixed up then, but that's what I mean. Like
when Edge came back in 2020, though, lads, that was emotional.
Oh, that was really, really emotional.
It's a shame he's not in it. It's a shame he's not in the Royal Rumble this year. I think he would still deliver a moment, unless he is one of the surprise entrants. You never know, but he's had very good Rumble moments, like that one especially. I think 07, I think you would have to say as well, was another great Royal Rumble moment for him. Like just the way that he actually turned on Orton. Like you saw it start. The seed was starting to show about like they're gonna get rid of rated RKO, but the way they done it in that Rumble, just build up everything like crack, like concerto, and then they just chuck him out like the way they were doing it. I thought it was brilliant. Obviously, the Shawn Michaels build up as well, like Sweet Chin Music. It was great from that Rumble. But yeah, I have to say though, in terms of just pure credit for a Royal Rumble, it doesn't get enough. It's hard to argue with 2020 because it was also, if you can remember, it was the last Rumble before COVID. It was the last one on COVID that had like a full capacity stadium. Obviously, we're going to have it this year, which is great. The Rumble should always have a capacity crowd because it's such an environment. But the fact is, it was the last one before the whole COVID outbreak. It did signal enough. And Struan with a very good comment. 2005 was great. Yep, versus Edge, versus Shawn Michaels
that night as well. He faced Shawn Michaels in the opener that night as well.
He did, yeah. He did. And he was quality in the Rumble. They built up their feud really well, and obviously then built to Angle versus HBK, probably one of the best WrestleMania moments. Let's go for it. Straight away, your favourite surprise return. And Vicky's going in biggest shock was AJ Styles. We'll do that as a two-parter before obviously we move on to the next, like the main point of the show. But like we'll split it into two. So your favourite surprise return and biggest shock, lads.
Favourite surprise return was Edge. I think nobody knew it was going to happen, and the story of him having to retire and then returning, you could see what it meant to him when he came out. I don't think that'll ever be topped. Edge coming back for me. Edge was one of my favourites growing up. He was the best bad guy, but was such a good guy. I'll forever prefer his heel runs, but Edge coming back was a little bit emotional for me. It reminded me of a childhood of loving wrestling so much, and when he came back, it was amazing.
And would that be your biggest shock as well then? biggest surprise also being your biggest shock being Edge, or would you put something else towards that?
Shock, no, I think was when Cena returned in 08, like how he came back so quickly from such a horrible injury. Like it was superhuman. Like he shouldn't have been there. So I think nobody imagined him to come back. So the fact that it was him, the fact that he came back that was probably the best one.
Yes, true, and agrees with you. What about you, Keen? Your favorite surprise return, and your opinion, your biggest shock.
Well, yeah, I suppose like my favorite surprise return, obviously Edge would be there. I think I'd have that level with Cena's return because, like for me, Cena was my favorite as a child. So like at that time, Rock is my all-time favorite because he was my favorite wrestler when I first started watching. But in 2008, like I remember watching it with my friends in my sitting room, like we'd school, the next morning, and just seeing John Cena return, it was crazy, because no one expected him to come back.
Yeah.
What about you, Reece?
For me, it just was Keen's loading. He seems to be having connection issues. For me, my favourite surprise return, I do agree in terms of like Edge. I think that's a very fair comment to make. I think you could also say Roddy Piper in Snooker in 08 at Madison Square Garden, purely for the history. Purely for the history, the same Rumble, funnily enough. At 2008, like their history at Madison Square Garden. But for my favourite surprise return is a little bit after that, but just before the Edge 2020 return. My favourite WrestleMania return, Royal Rumble return, was Diesel. Because that was a pure shock in 2012. The complete shock that you saw.
Cool, wasn't it? Yeah. There's another one though. I think that's what makes Royal Rumble so great though, because so many that like you just wouldn't expect. The way that they can keep it such a secret, especially with all the dirt sheets around now, it must be so much harder for them nowadays. But the fact that they can, like when the Hardys came back, was it WrestleMania 33? Three, that was it. But that's what I mean. Being able to do that, and I think that the fact that they're able to do that at so many Royal Rumbles, I think it just makes the event that little bit more special.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it is the best one of the year, because you kind of wanting to know who's coming back. Like the fact like Lita's coming back in the women's one. Like I can't believe that. Like Lita was my favourite diva growing up. Obviously as they were known as then. Lita and probably Stacy Keibler, but for other reasons. But
a man's honesty is a man's honesty. I always remember WrestleMania 18. If you know, you know. That's all I'm saying. But no, I agree. Like for me, I have to be honest. My favorite Royal Rumble return was unless something bizarre happens this year that will really catch me off guard. My favorite surprise return is still going to be Diesel. It's just the way that he came back. Like it was a complete shock. Yeah. Kofi Kingston pure shat himself. That was brilliant. Like that reaction was absolutely genius. But my favorite shock, I think you would have to probably say Styles. Like a lot of people were thinking it was going to happen. Like because it was around, even though it was like dirt sheets, they fought because he had just left like New Japan. Or is he going to turn up for the Royal Rumble? Is he going to be after that on a Raw return, like a Raw debut? But no, he was at the Royal Rumble and he was right at the start as well. Like he entered at number 3. He was right in there.
Remember Roman's face when I Am Phenomenal came up in the Titantron?
No idea what was going on. Like it was great, wasn't it?
Well, Hasbulla's biggest fan, Shane, is in the live chat. So hello, Shane. I may as well ask you the question we're on. What is your favourite Royal Rumble return and what is your biggest Royal Rumble shock? We'll get that from Shane.
Who was your shock? AJ Styles, Reece?
Yeah. It's just the way it came around. I just like at that time, in terms of in the business, you would honestly say that in terms of who was the best in the world. Like I know it's a tagline that goes everywhere. Like everyone's laid claim to it. Cena's laid claim to it. CM Punk's laid claim to it. Chris Jericho, like best in the world at what I am and what I do. Like that's another tagline. Bret Hart in the 90s had the best there is, the best there was, best there will be. But for me in 2015, even till now, you could honestly say who is the best, and it's still AJ Styles. Like Roman Reigns is probably the best at the moment. Pains me to say that, but in terms of just overall ability, workmanship in the ring, ability outside, has to be Styles for me. Cena the best Rumble return and shock. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, when Styles had that return, when he did come though, he was obviously he was actually offered a WWE contract a few years prior to that, and it was. So I think we were obviously with WWE. I think sometimes they can burn bridges, and the idea that Styles was ever going to show up in WWE ever was just unheard of. I think everyone was like, "No, it'll never happen." So when he just walked out, and the crowd went nuts when he walked out, because everybody knew who it was immediately. And now he's for a good run, he was probably the hottest in WWE. To be able to do that, and for Vince McMahon to come out and say, that he was wrong, says everything, doesn't it? I'd love that.
Obviously, if you've never watched the Weekly Armchair before, and you've never come across a man from Ireland called Shane Dowley, now you have. Hasbulla number 30 entry tonight. Well, to be fair, I don't particularly know this, but isn't he not like the height of Hornswoggle? He would probably be the smallest entry ever in the Rumble. Like, is he not like that height? I don't have a freaking clue. I just know he's quite a small but scary lad.
I reckon Hornswoggle will come. I bet he returns tonight. I bet he's there. He's one of the bloody stupid surprise entrants.
I'd be surprised.
Do you know who's coming back tonight? Zach Gowen, number 29.
Nah, he'll be hopping his way to an elimination. Off you go. Bye-bye. Brock Lesnar would just take one look at him and go, right, can I just enter like 30 seconds early? Just let me go after him. Vicky's coming in with a couple of bold comments. I'm just going to go to this one first, because we are going to do Royal Rumble predictions later on the stream. But I know for a fact Shane in our Weekly Armchair group chat this afternoon did put he thinks Kevin Owens could win the Royal Rumble. So just for the sake of it, lads, what is your overall thoughts on the Rumble this evening and going into the WrestleMania season? Obviously, they really need to get this right. With all the releases going on at the minute, WWE, obviously AEW at the minute is not on WWE's level per se, but it is building to maintain its consistency with week after week with viewing, with their ratings. The Royal Rumble, they've got to get this right. What's your overall thoughts for WWE going into the Royal Rumble? And do you think there is a possibility that they might actually fuck up the booking, or do you think they will actually get it right this year? I'll come to you first, Callum, on that one.
It's WWE. They are very good at fucking up the booking. They've done it many times. Like when the Daniel Bryan didn't even enter the Rumble, like that was almost criminal. And then putting in Ray at
2014,
30, yeah. In putting Ray at number 30 and allowing one of the greats in history to be booed because they messed up so bad was criminal to me. They've got to get it right. You dead on, really. That AEW is nowhere near it, WWE, but I definitely think we've finally seen a competition that genuinely could be. Obviously, we've had TNA, but they were never at the level that WWE was going to get. That is at AEW with the talent it's got, with the people that work there, with the booking system that they seem to have, with the popularity it's building over here now as well. They've got to get this right, because the thing is, AEW seems to be getting a lot of things right at the moment. Not everything, but they seem to be getting quite a lot right. They've got some amazing talent that if WWE wasn't to utilise, you now do have that other promotion where you think if they went there, they'd smash it. So they've got to get this right. They've got to make sure in the lead up to the biggest part of the year for the company that they get it spot on. Because this one of my favourites, like Vicky said, then is Kevin Owens. I'd love for him to win it. I think he needs another run at the very top of the company, and I think he showed he could handle it last time. So for him to win, I think would be brilliant. I don't want to see somebody like Rollins or. I don't want to say, because they've been at the top for a while now. I think it's now time for WWE to build for that next chapter, I think, and giving someone unknown maybe even a go at winning it would be brilliant. Not that they will, because what they're like, they'll probably bring back the Undertaker and just say he needs to win it or something.
He is, funnily enough, backstage at the Royal Rumble this evening.
I think the Undertaker's done now. I don't think we'll ever see.
I think he's just attending.
That's for Michelle McCool. She's in the women's match tonight. She is.
Yeah, I think so.
She's one of the 3 legends that have been unaffiliated legends that have been announced.
Some might see some kind of appearance, but I'm just curious to see what the surprise returns will be. But I hope they get it right enough so the excitement's there for who comes back. But I think that the fact that they've announced a few legends in the women's shows that they're focusing on that a little bit as well. So I think I'm sure when we get onto predictions later, we'll go to that. But if they don't get this right, then there's a severe danger. I think that some people might start to see WWE as losing its touch, possibly, and start exploring AEW, TNA, and a lot of indie companies as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I have got all the matches for the Royal Rumble. We will be going through predictions, and obviously I'll be taking from the live chat as well. We'll just for fun, there's no real competition. It's just seeing what we think. Obviously, touch of the comment at the very top of the show. Andrew was here. Oh, now you show. We've been live for nearly 27 minutes, pal. Where have you been? And on the back of Vicky's comment, she mentioned Ronda Rousey might be attending Royal Rumble and Monday Night Raw. I do think you will see something. I will say this now. I do not want to see Lynch versus Rousey at WrestleMania. I do not want to see a title rematch. As good as it sounds, I don't want.
Is it a rematch for Reece? Because we were meant to have it and we were all buzzing for it, and then WWE threw Charlotte Flair in there, which none of us wanted at the time. So technically, we were really robbed of it. And WWE does need a marquee match for this WrestleMania. So. Yeah,
I suppose. But technically, we did get it in a way in that triple threat match. Do we get it at WrestleMania? Yeah. Do you get it as a title match? That I'm not sure if that's the best course of action, especially right now. We got like Liv Morgan, Doudrop. I know that's a funny one, but they are doing really well at the moment. And then you bring back Ronda Rousey just to win the Royal Rumble. It defeats the effort and hard work they're putting in. I don't really know
exactly what WWE would do though. They bring back.
It's classic
like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if Rousey did actually return tonight. And because if she's going to return, she would have said, "I'll return if I win the Rumble." It would have happened.
Yeah, she'll have that. And Andrew's question, is Bayley over her injury? I'll be honest, I don't actually know. I'm hoping she's one of the surprise entrants because, to be fair, they are missing somebody of that bizarre star power. Like, I think Bayley's absolutely elite. Steph has, from Vicky, Steph has said to never main event WrestleMania according to WO that he will be, so it makes sense. But I think he will. I think you'll see him in some form of main event. Twins right in. Vicky actually agrees with you. Agree as Flair will hold a title. Yeah, she always does. Title grabbing hooch. Brock versus Roman surely is the main event of Mania.
I hope not.
It's definitely that.
I really hope not.
Just using her as a word, that's all. Just using her as an example. And yeah, Banks is confirmed. Yeah, she'll be in the Royal Rumble. No surprise. So we've went through favourite matches, favourite pay-per-views, bizarre moments, short returns. We now got to ask you the most annoying question as well. What's the worst one you've seen, lads? Now this I'm going to open up to you both to take any option. So I'm going to sit back and pretend I've got popcorn.
The worst Royal Rumble was the 40-man, 2011.
Yes.
I really didn't like it. I thought it was shocking. It didn't need that.
It was overbooked, weren't it? It was overbooked.
Yeah, it just didn't. I think you could tell the writers tried too hard for something that didn't need. The thing is with the Royal Rumble is it presents itself for it to be good. It sort, as long as it runs smoothly enough, it'll be good in itself. You don't need to start adding other stipulations and making other stuff. They said, to be fair, Andy, mate, they said the same about Cena and he returned. So we'll see.
To be fair, they've been saying expected about Veer Mahan for nearly 2 years, and the closest he's going to get to coming is vignettes. So who knows? Like Veer Mahan's coming in dreams, but he's not coming anywhere else. For Niall's question, when does the Royal Rumble start? The Royal Rumble starts at 12 o'clock. Starts in just over just under 2.5 hours to go. 2.5 hours to go. It's going to be fucking carnage. I hated the one that Batista won. The triple threat was amazing, but the rest of the event was pants. Okay, so triple threat was amazing, but the rest of the event, I can only assume you're either going 2014 or you're saying 2005. I would 100% 2014. 2005, yeah, that was a brilliant ending. Him versus Cena. 14, that should have been Daniel Bryan.
I wonder is he referencing the WrestleMania after Batista won? Because the triple threat match at Mania was good. Do you know what though? If you're looking at Rumbles that were if you're looking at the overall pay-per-view, like obviously Roman winning in 2015, none of us wanted that because Daniel Bryan, we all wanted him to win it. But that triple threat match, Lesnar, Cena, Seth Rollins, that was a banger. That was an absolute barn burner from start to finish.
Yeah, it was.
It really showed, I think that was Lesnar's best match since he returned, since that 2011. Obviously, he had the Cena match at Extreme Rules, but I think if you're talking match quality, bell to bell, I think that was Brock Lesnar's best match since his return post-UFC.
Yeah, I would certainly think so. I'm just looking now because Vicky's asked if there's a pre-show match, and I don't actually see anything purely because of how long the Rumble takes. No, there is no pre-show match that's been listed. But to be fair, you'll probably see something. Brock versus Cena versus Seth was 2015. That was the following year. That Reigns won it. It was, which Reigns won it as well, which was kind of expected. That was funnily enough, the last time The Rock got booed as well. He hasn't been at Royal Rumble since.
Yeah, that was really desperate, that wasn't it?
Oh, has he? Fair enough.
He has, yeah.
Not bad. And it's okay, no need to apologise. And Vicky's actually went on the back saying my favourite all-time Cena, Seth and Brock triple threat. Yeah, it was quality. Yeah, I will actually. We do actually have a Twitch channel, the Weekly Armchair. Weekly Armchair's Twitch channel. I will just load up because it's absolutely gorgeous. Not that I'm going to be working on it. Oh wait, I will be very soon. But it is very involved, our Twitch channel. We are live at the minute. I'll just load it up for you guys. We've got a Weekly Armchair Gaming channel. That's not the one we've got. Keen, you've got the main channel that you can promote. But I've got the Weekly Armchair Gaming channel. Yeah,
so Weekly Armchair Sports Talk Twitch channel. We're live on it now. And so obviously all the wrestling podcasts, football podcasts, and the basketball podcasts will all be streaming live on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk Twitch channels. So if you do like sports and all that, do jump over there, do a smash like the video, and do follow the Weekly Armchair Twitch channel. And if you're looking at the Weekly Armchair Gaming, that is coming soon. Mr. Reece Russell right beside me will be streaming all stuff like FIFA, all other games like that. And in FIFA 22, he's going to be creating his own Weekly Armchair Sports Talk team and doing a career mode. So let's see how he runs his club into the ground. That should be absolutely fantastic.
Well, I can call the manager Keane Franey, so either way, whoever gets the blame, it's not me, it's you.
No, we might be changing the job. This. We actually deal McCoy out in real life.
That can be arranged. that can certainly be arranged. We'll just call it Jamie Mackay. Jamie Man is likely to be in the Royal Rumble as reported. If that does happen, get him out early.
He's eliminating Austin Theory, and that's setting up a match for him and Austin Theory because the Vince McMahon storyline.
Yeah.
Guaranteed it happens.
He is rumoured, funnily enough, to be in the final 5, though, Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So there is a good chance that maybe McMahon gets eliminated by Theory, and then as Theory's getting ready to eliminate somebody, he gets back in and just dumps him over. Yeah.
The fact
that would certainly work.
That could actually happen is showing how the unpredictable, how predictable, like the Royal Rumble would be. Because the thing is, you saying that, I could full on imagine that exactly. It won't surprise me if they were watching this now and go, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's write that down and make it happen in a few hours."
Well, as I said, as we said before, we're live. Vince Russo, you do follow me on Twitch. You do follow me on Twitter. If you've got any good ideas, hit us up on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk. We would love to have you. Give you some great creative ideas that you can ship back to Vince. I'm sure he would still listen to you after all. You were reason for the death of WCW. But either way, we can certainly enjoy it. I love Vince Russo. I love Vince Russo, so I'll still take the digs anywhere. Here's an interesting question. But on the back of that, I'm going to acknowledge this. So this is great comments. Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13 was brilliant. Although I would also say Survivor Series 96, Angle versus Shawn at Mania, and obviously TLC 2, the absolute best. But this is an interesting question. Surprise returns. Royal Rumble's always infamous with surprise returns. Vicky is shouting Corey Graves, who hasn't wrestled in 9 years. He hasn't 8 or 9 years hasn't wrestled since he was forced to retire at NXT. Would you think he could be in line for a surprise return, or do you think it'll be somebody else, lads?
He was rumored. He was rumored. So maybe, yeah, I think maybe he might be one of the surprise returns. I think maybe as well, maybe Booker T. Maybe Booker T. There's talk of him having an in-ring return at some point. And I've seen a couple of reports of that. So I won't be surprised if Booker T comes out tonight, because we have 5 potential surprise returns or an NXT call-up. So
yeah. So when you look at the Royal Rumble participants now, I'll actually bring up who's already been confirmed for the Royal Rumble, because I think only 22 has been confirmed. So we still have 8 places left, I believe. That is... Yep, so in terms of the men's entrance, 25 have been announced. 25 out of 30. So we've got from announced on Raw originally, this was at the start of the month, you've got Dawkins, Ford, Mysterio, Rey Mysterio and Dominic, Austin Theory. Then you had day one announced, you had Johnny Knoxville. You've got Sheamus. You've got Priest, Styles, Big E that we already mentioned. Then more from SmackDown. The next 4 is Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, and Kofi Kingston. Then you've got the long list from Raw, which is Owens, Omos, Orton, Riddle, Gable, Otis, Ziggler, Roode. And then the last 3 entrants is Nakamura, Boogs, and Ricochet.
I think we might see Cena come back tonight. And I think for the women, I think as a prize one would be Paige.
Yes.
I'd love it.
It's the best thing to come out of Norwich, better than that fucking football team.
What about Todd Campbell, Reece?
I love listening to Paige though, because she's from Norwich, but she's not got any of that Eastern country in her. Like, she's just got that little bit of an Americanization to an accent.
And she loves a pint.
Yeah, it's proper strange. No, I love Paige. She's brilliant. I was gutted when she had to retire when that happened with Sasha Banks. So I'd love to see her come back. That'd be brilliant. You know, Edge. It'd be good to see her get back.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be great. From what I've heard, she is cleared. She is cleared to go. I just don't know if WWE will actually clear to go.
Yeah, it won't surprise me. I know the doctors might have cleared her, but if the medical team at WWE itself don't, then they wouldn't allow it, would they?
Yeah. Andrew, that comment is absolutely brilliant. I would say it out live, but we can get in serious bother. But all I want to say, wow. Although to be fair, and you're not exactly wrong. I mean, it won't be long before somebody puts in the comments Velveteen Dream or something. Who knows? And I don't want to get into that rubbish. That's not what we're here for. We're just here to chat wrestling. So 25 out of 30 has been announced. 5. Oh, I'll tell you backstage. Put it that way. Like after when the show ends tonight, I'll tell you, or do a quick Google search. Just in terms of the 5 returns, just from the men's side, we'll come on the women's side in about 5-10 minutes. We just want to talk about the men's rumble. So here's a good show actually, because I'll get your responses to this. Andrew's saying Braun Breaker or Gunther, obviously, because they've renamed Walter, which is absolutely shocking, from 2.0 in the Royal. So that's potentially 2 there. Would you possibly see them, or do you think they wouldn't include them?
Maybe Tommaso Ciampa. I think maybe him, because he's kind of done, isn't he, with kind of NXT at the moment? And there's talk of coming to the main roster. So maybe Tommaso Ciampa, but I'd like to see Walter in it. Walter would be fucking sick.
I'm annoyed they changed his name.
Gunter. He sounds like one of the... Is it Scottish Defenders, is it? Or Welsh Defenders? I don't know which one it is.
Oh, but... Chris Gunter, yeah.
It is a good show. I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think Finn Balor could be involved in the Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised. But if they do come, if Tommaso Ciampa does come up to the main roster, I hope they don't do what they did to like Shayna Baszler and all that. Do not change his theme because they've completely butchered it. And I'm
Or
hoping
they done to Karrion Kross recently as well. That was horrendous booking. Like he was a fucking killer on NXT. Within 2 weeks, they had him just gone. Like
Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah. Well, they did it. I mean, he's not there anymore. They released him, but Keith Lee, he was meant to be, brilliant. On
Don't get keen started on Keith Lee. Honestly,
oh man,
the main roster, and they absolutely destroyed him.
They changed his gimmick as well. They went back to his heel gimmick, Wildcat Keith Lee. They went back to that.
Wildcat, it was something else. It was fucking. Was it Wildcat? I don't know what the fuck it was called.
It was Wildcat around that one, yeah. I'm sure it was Wild.
I mean, I've read as well that Fox, I think it's Fox or USA Network, I can't remember now, but the networks over in America are really disappointed with the new look NXT.
Bearcat.
So I mean, I'm not being funny, but it looks very Vince McMahon-esque. I think Triple H had that NXT run so well. You know, brilliant. The wrestling was brilliant, and it just seems like they've tried to revamp something that probably didn't even need revamping, because it does. It looks ridiculous. And the thing is, they brought, you know, NXT had some of the best matches you'd ever see. Some of the takeover events were just incredible, and now they come up to it. Like a lot of them didn't even want to come up to the main rosters because they knew something had happened with the booking.
It doesn't help now that they've ruined it. Now that Vince is now running NXT with Bruce Pritchard, like they're doing that. They're running booking purely after the Triple H's cardiac arrest, which is unfortunate, but they've outed him completely. They've got rid of William Regal, which is, I don't know why you would ever want to get rid of William Regal. Probably the best wrestling mind from the UK. In terms of just pure
the NXT UK partnership as well, like.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've just ruined it, like completely flattened it. And in terms of like pure minds for the business, like he honestly is, like, for me, like the smartest man from Britain in terms of that aspect. I think creative wise, he's just great, and they've got rid of him. And now they've went into 2.0. They've turned into like a main roster feel with more the entertainment than the matches.
Well, it's well known. Like Vince is entertainment, not wrestling. Mm-hmm. It's always been that case, and I think he's, you know, I think the fact that he gave Triple H so much power over it was brilliant. But you knew it was never going to last. I think a lot of people thought Triple H could be the new Vince McMahon and all that, but it's clear that Vince McMahon's nowhere near ready for that.
Tony Khan's getting it now after Vince, isn't he? When Vince eventually moves on, like it's going to be Tony Khan. So that worries me. Yeah, that worries me too. I think we could be going, like, when Vince goes, Tony Khan takes over. I think we're going to see a lot more wrestlers going to not NXT, AEW. Like I think there, as Callum rightly mentioned earlier, I think there's a lot. I
think we're on something really big with AEW. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, right. It looks like it's the biggest natural competitor since 1996. Like that's where we are. I think, like, if you're talking more, I think CM Punk going there for me was a massive turning point.
Huge. That the fact that he's gone there sells everything, and because Punk forever, I think he's probably one of my all-time favorites. I genuinely believe, but
Nick Khan, yeah, he's the one that's actually responsible for all the superstars that get released. He recommends them to Vince. Every single one he's recommended have actually been released. Cross, Nia Jax, Strowman, yeah, he's all recommended them. Yeah,
I believe he was released.
Strowman come back tonight. What do you reckon? That's
could be.
I don't think he will. He's doing well in Ring of Honor at the minute and Impact.
Yeah, but there's a lot of talk of opening the Forbidden Door, isn't there? So yeah. I do wonder. I mean, the one superstar that I'd love to return is The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I'd love his character was excellent, and the WWE destroyed it. But Bray Wyatt's mind in wrestling was clearly incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vicky's coming back to you saying AEW will be outselling in September. better than WWE. Yeah, to be fair, I would not be surprised.
Vicky,
And the one thing they do really well is their creative aspect. They're going to people that know the business really well. Like they're going to Chris Jericho, who's got a great intellectual mind for it. They've got Cody Rhodes. You've got Arn Anderson still. Like even though he's getting on, he still understands it. Like Tully Blanchard, great mind for the business, especially for tag teams. It's no wonder like FTR and all that are flourishing. Like Mexican wrestlers like the Lucha Brothers are thriving over there. Like CM Punk's mind for promos and all that is still the best, Andrew. I agree. Like getting him on side for even Kenny Omega, like for bringing in Japanese talent because he's been over there as an American. He works really well. Speaking of American talent going over to Japan, what if any of the Japanese talent actually came over to the Rumble, like specifically from like New Japan? Like that would be interesting. You mentioned the Forbidden Door. Like there isn't just Impact, there isn't just AEW, there isn't just Ring of Honor. There's New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Then that would be the ultimate Forbidden Door as well, because they have their traditions over there, and they're a closed book, really. Do you know? Like, so that would be a massive Forbidden Door. But I don't think if you're talking about Forbidden Door and you're talking about your catering to your audience, I think it'd be someone that's probably been in WWE before and it's probably with TNA or Ring of Honor. It won't be. I don't think it'd be someone from All Elite. I don't think. Not unless it's a legend, a former WWE legend. Only if it's like someone like Big Show or Mark Henry or something. Do you know what I mean? We're there now. But like
nobody from AEW will be there tonight. I'd be so surprised. I think it'd be more likely for so much else to happen. AEW won't be going. Nobody from AEW will be there tonight, I don't think.
Not unless it's one of the legends. Like not unless it's someone who like, you know, it's someone who's not too critical. Like probably like Big Show or some Mark Henry, people like that who are there. But like, again, it's probably something like TNA or the Impact Wrestling it's called now, or Ring of Honor. You know,
that's a very good point. I'd love that. That'd be great. That because I think it'd show that WWE might be open to doing other stuff. I do wonder though if this idea of opening the Forbidden Door has like Vicky mentioned before about the outselling. I do wonder if WWE finally starting to recognise that they do have some very viable competition. Because the idea that WWE could outsell WWE, you know, if you just had 2-3 years ago, that another company could come in and do better than number one company is pretty crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of elite names there, I agree. I agree about the whole like coming in. They haven't really had another champion appear with their title since the 90s, like the Midnight Express. Like tag teams, like AWA tag team titles haven't been around. Like that's the only title that's been around. At the moment, she's not affiliated to anything. You could have Tessa Blanchard. She isn't affiliated to anyone. She was in WWE before. I wouldn't be surprised purely because right now like, it's ongoing feud with Impact. I wouldn't be surprised if you had Deonna Purrazzo appear like, to go against Mickie James. I wouldn't be surprised. But my only thing though is because they're doing the Forbidden Door. How long are they actually willing to keep her in the Rumble? I know she is a WWE legend, but she's also
he broke up, mate.
Like Mickie James, like
Mickie James.
Yeah, like I can understand like she's been announced for the Rumble, and she is a champion of another promotion, but how long do you honestly think they're going to want to give her time in the ring? Because also she's a champion of another promotion. I don't necessarily see her getting that long.
Probably maybe something like 5-10 minutes. Because obviously the risks there, right? If they get injured in another promotion whilst being a champion, it'd seriously piss them off. I think, wouldn't it? They'll probably get a decent stint in the Rumble, but I can't see them going 30-40 minutes kind of thing.
Definitely, absolutely. We are going to move on because obviously we do have a quiz tonight, and that is going to come at the very end of the show, which you guys are getting involved as well. The live chat, you can get involved with the comments, and don't worry, there won't be any cheating. I just want to go through the 6 matches. So we're just going to do predictions, and I just want to get your just predictions for each one. Like any say for example, you've got like your primary pick for the Rumble, but you've got like a dark horse pick that you think could happen. We'll go with that. And then we'll go through like the title matches, the mixed tag match, we'll go through that. And before I ask you that, I will just relay these comments. I think that Mickie James will be able to do this, as they've already said on WWE, she is the Knockouts champion. That's right. Yep, 34 minutes is her longest, and I think you'll see her get Hall of Fame this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, but she could still get it. So, straight down, predictions. We're going to start with the men's rumble. So, Keane, I'll come to you first, mate. Who do you think is going to win the rumble, and do you have a dark horse pick for the matches?
Men's or women's?
We're going to go down the list. So, men's first.
Men's. All signs are a lot of people are saying Brock Lesnar, but for me, I look at AJ Styles. I think he'd be my pick to win tonight. I think him splitting off from Omos. I think if you look at the title picture at the minute, I think he could easily slot in and face Bobby Lashley for the WWE title if he beats Brock tonight. Or let's say if Brock retains, and when we have to go like a Lashley rematch at WrestleMania, like that could. If there's a screwy finish there, I think that could maybe fit in, and then AJ goes over to the house he built over in SmackDown and faces Roman Reigns. If anyone can take down the head of the table, it's the man who built. I suppose we all know The Rock was the face of SmackDown, but like the man who built SmackDown Live being the house that AJ Styles built, I think that story you could write that there. And I think if you look at Roman and AJ's match at Extreme Rules, that was an absolute barn burner. So yeah, look, I'll go AJ Styles for me. I think, look, he's someone who, if you're talking about main event of WrestleMania and talking about guaranteed good match quality, AJ Styles for me would be that one. I think my dark horse for this, I suppose AJ probably is the dark horse, but for me, dark horse, I'm going to go to Fiend because he's not in the match. I go to Fiend just in case does show up tonight as that surprise entrant. Fiend coming out at number 30. That's something that could be there.
That would be amazing.
Anything's possible.
Came back.
Anything's possible. Before I come to your predictions, Callum, I'm just going to get Andrews. Andrew has gone outright Brock Lesnar. He's going flat out. Andrews also said, because I'll get his women's predictions, he's also went Ronda or Bayley. So he's gone for potentially two that might be in the Rumble, might not be. I'll come to your question in a second, Vicky. I'll come to yours in a question. And pick 3, no, we do not authorize free. That's too much fun. That's too much fun. We don't authorize fun. We authorize pain. So it's one overall pick, one dark horse pick. So Callum, what's yours?
I think Big E could be a shout to win. I think his title run has shown that he can kind of hang with the big guys, which is good. You know, I think he was touted as being the next big thing for a long time, and he got that big time, and he did brilliantly. I think dark horse makes slight bias because I think he's probably one of my favourites of today. He's been there and done it everywhere, but I'd love Kevin Owens to win. I really want to see him back at the top if possible. He's done a lot at WWE now. I think he's won a lot of titles. I'd love him to. I'd love KO to win it if I could. If he wins, I'd be more than happy.
Vicky's gone for Kevin Owens as her pick, and Lesnar is her dark horse. Very good choices, and Andrew's obviously reiterating a very clear fact. He does have a big new contract, so it is a possibility. For me, I'm going for Lashley to win the Rumble. I think Lashley will lose to Lesnar, and I think he'll actually win the Rumble. And I'll even go one further. I think he will face the winner of the Elimination Chamber. I think that's what might happen. And my dark horse pick is, as much as I would love AJ Styles to do it, I think he's going to go up against Edge at WrestleMania. So my dark horse pick's Finn Balor.
Would you say it could be the Demon Finn Balor though? Because like if you're doing current Finn Balor and he's putting Austin Theory over clean,
yeah,
is it believable?
That's the only thing.
Like,
is it believable?
Finn Balor's your dark horse. It has to be Demon Finn Balor.
Yeah, I'd love it to be Demon Finn Balor, but Finn Balor. But the problem is he's been touted as being given Jeff Hardy's role Jeff Hardy could be a pick for a surprise return tonight. I think.
Well, he is getting his Hall of Fame place this year after
Well,
the
they
whole
offered him. He hasn't accepted yet, apparently, though.
I'll say this in a nice way. I know people have got a lot of sketchiness with the he's passed and all that, but I hope he says no. I hope he says no for the way the WWE treated him. Before, at the start of the new year, because the Stone Cold podcast, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. The way that happened, there was nothing wrong with him, and yet they decided, oh, there's something wrong with him. We're just going to get rid.
You not see the video though from the house show? What happened?
The one that he just walked out.
Yeah,
he just got up and left. They said there was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said there was nothing wrong with him. Obviously, I'm not going to take further speculation until I find out the facts. But
what happened on the Stone Cold podcast, Reece?
It was on the network. So he done his he was on the Broken Skull sessions after Survivor Series, and he spoke about his past openly and honestly about his drug addiction, alcohol, and he spoke about it. And he says, "I'm completely clean," and you can see it in his face. You can see it in his eyes. That was a man of somebody who loves his job, loves his life, loves just being involved with his family. There was no way that he was taking anything. You would have known. And obviously they get drug tested regularly. For fuck's sake, how can it only be so quickly a live event that he's apparently taking something? It just screamed bollocks. Anyway, just get rid of him. I generally don't think there's anything wrong with him. Aye. He might not be the biggest contender, but he's the biggest contender in Ireland.
Hey, don't slag my country now.
That's not slagging, that's the truth. Best thing to come out of Ireland, in terms of wrestling standpoint, is Balor.
Speaking of Ireland tonight, since you brought it up, I think he could have an Iron Man role tonight in the match. Considering what he's done during the pandemic era up to now, the work Sheamus has done in ring, don't be surprised if he has a long stint in the match tonight.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I would like to see him do that. I've always had a bit of an interesting respect for Sheamus, because obviously that Irish and Scottish connection. Obviously, Drew McIntyre's not going to be involved in the Rumble, or is he? That would be a shock. McIntyre eliminates Sheamus after he did call him an old bastard at his birthday. Have you seen that? He had a balloon called old bastard on the front for Sheamus. It's absolute genius. But yeah, Sheamus would be a great one.
I did have a soft spot for Sheamus, but he's a very outspoken Liverpool fan.
Yeah, that's the only.
I kind of can't respect that one, I'm afraid, anymore.
We have to cheer on Happy Corbin. He's a Man United fan.
Not a fucking chance.
I didn't know that.
Well, and Cesaro's sadly a Man City fan.
Rusev's a Real Madrid fan, eh? Massive Real Madrid fan as well.
Glory hunting bastard.
Remember that he was on an episode of I think it was Total Divas or something, and he had his Real Madrid shirt on. God, he fucking filled it. He was huge, proper a brute of a man.
I wonder is he a Ronaldo fan? I wonder if he's one of the fans that don't like people who say "Sue."
Sue. Hold on, Keane, take over for a minute.
Yeah, so I think we'll go with that then. So we'll move on to Women's Royal Rumble, shall we, Keane? So who's your pick for them?
Women's Royal Rumble. I think my pick, Ronda Rousey. I think all kind of directions are pointing towards Ronda. I think that I want to see that one-on-one match between her and Becky Lynch. I think we're robbed of that. I think Charlotte Flair was unnecessarily added.
He fucking hates the words big up, man. He hates it.
I think unnecessarily Charlotte was added into that match. So I will go Ronda. Then we saw her and Becky Lynch for WrestleMania. And I think Ronda eliminates Bayley at the end to win the match. The final four, we're going to have Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks, and Bayley as the final four tonight. And Ronda wins it. and she eliminates Bailey. Bailey goes and faces Charlotte and Mania, or maybe a triple threat team: Charlotte, Bailey, and Lita at Mania, and then
there's some shouts that I'd love Liv Morgan to win it. I think it'd be brilliant if she won it. The one thing I hope that doesn't happen. Ironically, as you bring that comment up, I do not, for the life of me, want Nikki Bella to win it. I cannot stand the Bella twins. I can't fucking stand them. I hate them. I would. Oh, I can't. I've never seen two worse actresses in my life than the Bella twins. Like, their feud a few years ago between them two might have genuinely been the worst thing I've ever seen on a wrestling program. Remember when she went, "I wish you died in the womb." Oh my god, it was like watching Hollyoaks. It was awful. God, it was utter shit. But yeah, I'd love to see Liv Morgan win. And for the nostalgia, I'd love Lita. But I think you're probably right, Keane. I think Ronda Rousey's coming back and she's going to win it.
If that's the final four tonight, people can come back to that clip. They clip this motherfucking shit up, and they can come back to that and say that you're a fucking visionary. You should be on the booking team.
I think, though, if they do give the win to Rousey, then it does defeat the purpose of building up Morgan. Because in terms of, like, right now, like, she is like the hottest thing going in terms of, like, no one without a title. Like, at the moment, without a title, it makes sense to build her up. But if she doesn't win the Rumble,
gave her a long run, Reece. So what if you gave her, like, let's say she entered like number 1 and number 2 and she got to the final 4? That wouldn't be burying her because she'd have a long run. That
would be better, because then it could build up to the Elimination Chamber. She could win the Chamber.
Oh yeah, good point. I mean, it'd be a good way to build her up and keep her looking strong. Because I think the thing is, I think WWE are probably going to look at building up but having a legend win. So maybe Lita, horribly Nikki Bella, or Ronda Rousey came back and wins. I reckon that's what'll happen. But meanwhile, doing that with someone like Liv Morgan, I reckon Doudrop could even enter the Rumble tonight.
I think she will. I think Bianca Belair might have a decent run. She seems to do well in Rumbles. She could win it back to back.
What about Sonya Deville? What about she does a Mr. McMahon on it and does it and wins it?
That would be entertaining. Just pulls in like off the top rope, you cow. I wouldn't mind that. I can't stand her. Okay, so we've covered men's, women's.
I hope they don't fucking win. Sasha Banks or Nikki Bella. If them two win, if one of them two win, I'm done.
I love Sasha Banks. She's brilliant.
I can't stand Sasha Banks either. I'm not a fan of her.
She's only good in Mandalorian. Hey ho. But yeah, I'm going for Morgan purely for the relevancy. Like, at the moment, like, building her up, unless they've got a clear plan for her at WrestleMania, because I think she will have a title run this year. I just don't know when. And I'll go dark horse. I'm going to go back to you guys have said Rousey, which is a good shout. I'm going to say the person that won the first Women's Rumble. I'm going to say Asuka.
Good show.
Purely because Asuka, every time she's been in a title run or she's held it, she's actually been good for ratings as well. And she's always delivered quality. Even during quantity as well, like, she delivers. I think Asuka as a dark horse makes a lot of sense.
I'll tell you what would be brilliant if Mickie James won it and they did like a TNA times WWE thing at WrestleMania. Like a merge of the titles in some way. That'd be pretty mad.
Question is, who would you have or go up against in the main event?
Becky. All day Becky.
Yeah. Becky's the catalyst of the rest of the women's division. For the past 3 years, she's just been the catalyst. Everything.
She's like the Conor McGregor of like the women's division. Her whole mantra, the fact she's Irish and she has that kind of aura, that's the way she is. Like,
it's a shame she has to drop the title of the man because of the Ric Flair problem.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of a good thing because, in all honesty, she's now trying to be she's now a B-Tech Rock. Manhandle slam behaviours. Although she did get his permission, I'm still calling her a B-Tech Rock. But I do love Becky Lynch. Big time Bex. What's next? Big time Baz. No, we've already got Harry Maguire at centre back. Anyway, moving on. the first of the 2 men's world title matches. Lesnar versus Lashley, lads. I think this is the one. This is probably the main one to call. We're going to go for it. Keen, you're up first. Lesnar versus Lashley. Come at me, brother.
Lashley opens with a few low calf kicks, engages the clinch. Joe brings out a bit of jiu-jitsu, and then beats him with a rear naked choke. Oh shit, it's not a UFC fight. All right. So this is going to be absolute carnage. This match, like, for me, remember 2006 when we had Kurt Angle and Mark Henry be the main event of the 2006 Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble was mid-card. If there's any match that, let's say, supersedes the Royal Rumbles, it's this match. This is a dream match.
Yeah.
Like two legit MMA fighters. I know Lashley didn't win a title, but like you're talking 2 legit MMA heavyweights at the top level. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley were both it. And now you have them in the WWE ring, and both their WWE careers are absolutely, unbelievable. And if you're looking at Bobby Lashley, in terms of his work with the Hurt Business, and then his overall return since MVP's become his manager.
It starts at 12 a.m. It starts at 12 a.m., dude.
Yeah, and thanks for supporting the Twitch is also, by the way.
This actually feeds into what Keem was saying as well. I'll let you continue, mate.
Yeah, like the build up to this match has been, absolutely fantastic. And if you look at like the way like Bobby Lashley's like overall persona has kind of built up since his return, because remember at the start he had that feud with Sami Zayn, and we had Bobby's sisters, Angle and all that, and remember he got buried by Roman Reigns as well, at one stage as well. So like to see kind of Bobby Lashley really rejuvenate himself in the last kind of 18 months has been fantastic. And look, Brock Lesnar has been fucking a breath of fresh air since he's come back. Like the new gimmick he's taken on the mic.
He's so funny and so good.
Bobby who, yeah, absolutely Bobby who. But like he's taking
genuinely out that.
That was pure Lashley. Like that was a pure Lesnar shithouse. And I think before I let you guys continue, I just want to say one thing. Lesnar deserves a lot of respect for his promos. He used to get a lot of shit saying he couldn't do it. He is fucking good at it.
I have a theory. About tonight. It's literally just after blowing up in my head, right?
Go on.
What if Lesnar doesn't win the Rumble, but he still loses? What if Bobby Lashley Goldbergs him? Just like we see in 2016, because the whole fact Brock Lesnar isn't taking him serious. What if Bobby Lashley Goldbergs him tonight? What in a case that it's basically spear, hurt lock, there you go, see you later. What if we seen a moment like that, and then Brock Lesnar gets rematch clause, all of a sudden Brock turns heel, and in WrestleMania, it's a proper rematch that we're all waiting to see. And then you have maybe the fact that the betting's gone up on AJ Styles. AJ Styles go faces Roman. I tell you, the booking is there, lads.
There's a good chance, and also there's no guarantee that Lesnar will appear in Jeddah at the Elimination Chamber. There's no guarantees he'll turn up, although he is a big draw. You would realistically expect him to show. And it's a good theory.
Lesnar's a free agent. He dips between both brands, so
yeah,
there's room there.
Reece, is the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia?
It's in Saudi Arabia this year, yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't know that. So I think, to be fair, it's good booking that. But I mean, so I always look at the betting, because the bookies tend to kind of have an inkling of who's going to win the Rumble. Now, it wouldn't have even come into my head for Lesnar. So the fact that Lesnar's favourite kind of says to me, Lashley's going to win. I mean, I believe Lashley was going to win anyway.
Yeah,
but I genuinely believe Lashley will win. And knowing his favourite for the Rumble, maybe Lesnar will win the Rumble as sort of so we can go after Lashley in his championship at WrestleMania. I don't think it'll be Brock and Reigns at WrestleMania. I think it'll be Lashley and Brock. So thanks for supporting Twitch, obviously. But yeah, I genuinely think we'll see that as the main event at WrestleMania this year. So, I mean, that could be something to look forward to.
I'm telling you now, it's only after hitting me in the last few minutes. Literally hit me while I was talking. I was like, fuck, they actually could do that angle where, he doesn't take, Lesnar isn't taking him serious in his storyline. He really isn't. He's saying Bobby who. And, I really do think Bobby Lashley could go over and look very strong. And it could be a good match. Because you have 2 Rumbles as well. And if you look at the other title match, Roman and Seth, that match is going to be a long match. That's going to be a barn burner as well. So,
and the Usos are barred from ringside as of Friday night.
Thank fuck.
So there's a possibility that he may still get involved because it's still it's still just a traditional one-on-one match. So disqualification is still involved. There is a good chance that if he loses the WWE title, he may invoke himself in the Reigns match because it'll bump off Rollins from the main scene, which allows him to go back into what I think is quite possibly going to be involving Rollins and Owens. There's certainly an aspect there.
I genuinely believe we're going to see probably one of the best Rumbles ever tonight.
Yeah, Lesnar gets Lashley F5 easily. Hopefully everybody is enjoying the show. Obviously, if you do, remember just hit that like, share and subscribe button. Share us out on Twitter, your socials. Most appreciated. Also, if you do want to appear on any of the Weekly Armchair podcasts we have, like the Weekly Armchair Weekly Steelchair podcast, for example, which is mine, just get in touch with me and Keen. More than welcome to have anybody on. Doesn't matter if you're a fan of 80s wrestling, that will be covered later. We're going to do it after WrestleMania. We're going to talk about territories. Obviously, that's going to be further down the line. I will be doing a WrestleMania pre-up stream, so obviously that's going to be 2 nights. We will be doing a 2-night stream.
We may do a watch along as well for WrestleMania as well. That may be in the pipeline as well. I'll have to discuss that with the lads, but that may be something that we may do because we have a lot of contributors. So we may do one crew for a watch along one night for night 1, and night 2 we'll have another crew. So, and we may even get a special guest on that watch along as well for a certain match. We never know. But look, do tune into the channel because we have a lot coming in these next coming weeks and months.
And even though
that up allows me to do that as well, so that would be very fun.
You will be one of the first people to get an invite. Don't you worry.
I would like to think so as well.
Vicky will be in the consideration. She's been on before. Evan, the absolute tit that's late. I get to call him that. He can come on anytime he wants. Basically, if you do want to appear, I'm not going to say no. But if you've got a preference about what you want to talk about, I'm all ears. If you want to talk about territories, if you want to talk about classic matches, I will be doing, in the build up to WrestleMania, we'll be doing a classic WrestleMania show, breaking down WrestleMania matches, WrestleMania pay-per-views. And on the back of that, we will then build on to the WrestleMania watch-ons. That's going to be down the pipeline. And since it's the most open question he's asked all evening, none.
He's keeping for the Rumble.
Drinking my iron brew.
He's drinking the iron brew, and I'm drinking the Clonmel champagne, Evan.
You're a bit late, mate. I already answered before you done it, so ha. Get up here. So we're going to line with that. I do agree with Callum. Furthermore, I do think Lashley will win this evening. Although if Brock does win it, I'm not against that. But I do think Lashley's going to win. We'll save Reigns versus Rollins till the end because that's the main event. So the next one is Lynch versus Doudrop.
This is going to be a quick one.
Yeah, Becky Lynch will win that, I think.
Yeah.
Unanimous. Yep, moving on. No disrespect to the women's match. It's just it's Doudrop. I don't really see her being anything credible. Anything credible as an opponent. I think it's a bit too soon. I think.
Okay, yeah, but I think you're right. It's too soon. Way too soon for her, I think.
There's no proper build-up for her to win. There's no story there, really, is there?
Yeah, it was just quick and easy. Oh well, you won a triple threat match. Okay, you're in.
Yeah, it was a bit of it's definitely a filler. I think it was. We need the women's title on there. Who can we get? I think it was. It's unfortunately a little bit disrespectful, I think, to the women's division.
Yeah. Because you can't have Bianca Belair because obviously, if you see the social media aspect, fans are moaning about the amount of times they've had Belair versus Lynch. Numerous times they've went Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views. You can't have the same match over and over. Although to be fair, Lesnar versus Reigns is always the exact same. So, what am I to talk? And obviously, Morgan's had the past 2 pay-per-views plus a Raw main event. You can't have either. You have to have something different. So, the live chat agrees with us. It's a complete unanimous decision. It's a Becky Lynch whitewash. Mixed tag. It couple versus the Grit couple, as it's been denounced. Phoenix and Edge versus Miz and Reece. Go for it, Callum.
With Phoenix coming back to ring, I think it probably makes sense for them two to win. I can't see Miz and Reece winning. I think it's typical of Miz to do the entertaining thing, and I think he'll be happy to accept the loss for Edge. So I think Edge will win that. Edge and Beth Phoenix.
It's mad because I want Edge and Beth Phoenix to win. Something tells me they get a screwy finish and win the match and then the rematch at WrestleMania. I just get that feeling.
Yeah, I can see where you were going with that, mate. Obviously, I still have Edge versus Styles at WrestleMania, but I wouldn't be surprised if you do have Edge versus Miz, and it actually wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, it wouldn't be. Miz is one of the hardest workers of the last 15 years. So
he's underrated.
Yeah, he's brilliant, the Miz. And for him to have something like that at WrestleMania against Edge, it'd be something he'd so deserve, I think.
I go one further because there's so much screwy things that are happening recently. What if you go Edge versus Miz Hell in a Cell? There you go. No outside interference, WrestleMania. There's a nice good gimmick match as well. You know? And has Miz ever been in the Hell in a Cell match? I don't think he has. I know he interfered.
That's all he's ever done. Interfered.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to do something like that and you want to do another first time ever, there you go. Vince, if you're watching.
Absolutely. Since Evan was working at the time, obviously I'm not going to advise you to scroll back and rewatch because obviously that will take a wee bit of your time. Although you can do that later on if you wish. Evans went to us. Who do you think will be a surprise entry? Just going to say for myself, women's. We've all pretty much fought Ronda Rousey. Me and Callum were on the agreement. Keane didn't disagree about Paige. Asuka, I think, will be for the women's side. Men's side is really hard to fit. We're not really sure. There is one I actually tweeted out, funnily enough, about a week ago. I think because they've done the Forbidden Door, I think Chris Sabin could turn up.
Ooh.
I was going to mention him during the stream, but I was like, since Evan's already asked, I may as well say I think Chris Sabin might turn up. I don't know, but I think it would be quite an interesting one. Lads,
do we we're all so sure that Brock Lesnar is going to lose the WWE title match?
Mm-hmm.
The bookies are fucking with our heads here, right? Because I'm looking at bets now because I'm going to do an accumulator after this show. And WWE Championship match, Brock Lesnar is 1-2 favorite to win the WWE title match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's also favorite to win the Royal Rumble.
What if he does? What if he does win both, and then they bin the brand split at WrestleMania?
No.
Well, he was in it the other year, though, wasn't he? And he wanted to just go, "Oh yeah, I'll enter it as champion, and when I win it, I'll just have WrestleMania off." So I wonder if they kind of revisit some kind of storyline like that.
I never would see that coming. But you know what? Well, it is a very valid question. Doesn't sound corny, although I haven't heard that word being said in a very long time. It's a very valid question. A couple's Hell in a Cell.
No, I can't imagine that happening. It'll be a new thing to happen. Could be a surprise, but
I'll go one further. I think if Reigns was to lose tonight, Rock interferes. If he was to lose tonight, though, but I don't see it happening because he's still filming Black Adam.
For the Rock and Reigns match for Hollywood next year?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, with it being in Hollywood next year, I think we'll see something like that. I think we'll see The Rock compete next year because of being in Hollywood.
There's a hurricane coming through.
Why?
What happened there, Reece?
Why? Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. That's never been forgotten. That's going to be clipped. Evans going, Lesnar is the reason my love for wrestling kind of faded.
I'd love to know
You know what,
why.
I'm gonna bounce on that. Why, Mr. Fahey?
I'd love to know why.
I mean, being
You
a
know what,
Chelsea
number
fan,
30,
being a Chelsea fan, you're used to winning, so surely Lesnar shouldn't be a fade for you, unless you're admitting that Chelsea win all the time is starting to fade on you too.
Hey Reece, number 30 tonight. This is my prediction for number 30 tonight, right? Just in the men's match. This just happens. All you hear is Michael Cole. Who could be number 30? Who's gonna be that man to win? Then this music drops.
For fuck's sake. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why would you do that?
Hey, Reverend Devon, man, what a man. Not gonna shut him out. He was actually like one of my fucking worst enemies in that game. He would absolutely reverse everything. He was some bastard.
Can we just get Billy and Chuck in as well?
Yeah.
Just for
Probably.
that. 2002 revamp. Billy and Chuck versus Reverend Devon. No, that wasn't Ziggler, Vicky. That was Devon Dudley's Reverend career. Although to be fair, that was
How
so
the fuck
bad.
do you think that was Dolph Ziggler?
The big love machine return at Wrestle. That's not physically possible because Viscera is sadly dead.
Or is he?
Oh, yeah, he died of a heart attack like 5 years ago, something like that.
Did he not did he not mean the big red machine, maybe?
I'm hoping so, because if you meant the big love machine, that's definitely Viscera.
I think he might meant the big red machine, to be fair.
I'd be surprised if Kane returns. Although big love machine is that
He's
because
after
everyone's
returning
looking at.
He's after returning in a couple of Royal Rumbles, so it could happen.
Yeah, just come back as just come back as corporate Kane. That'd be fun. Mark Henry was the world's strongest man and sexual chocolate. Still to this day, like probably the funniest theme song I've ever listened to. Like sexual chocolate, and now Keane's probably going to play it to torment me. But just before he does put me through pain, I'm actually going for Edge and Phoenix to lose. I'm going Miz and Reece to win tonight, actually. I'm going for it, and yeah, he meant Kane. Thank God for that. Thank God. Rollins versus Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, right, Reigns. I think his run's become so big now that he could only ever lose it at WrestleMania, I think. So yeah, I think Reigns is pretty nailed on for that one.
I think by the time it gets to WrestleMania, if he's still champion, it'll be around 500, it'll be 555, like 560 days, something like that. Way better than completely smash Lesnar's record anyway, because that was recently broken. Yep. Andrew and... Sorry, rephrase that. The two Andrews have gone for Roman Reigns and you're blocked. Sayonara.
What happened there?
Oh, bot accounts. Always bizarre bot accounts. I don't know where they're getting the titles from. It's just weird. What's Vicky's comment about replacement for unconfirmed number 30? I think it's regarding Ziggler. I'm not sure. Seth. I'm going with Seth. Oh.
Really? That could be Could be. I think you'd be the only one to call that. I just can't see Reigns losing.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. To be fair, if Seth wins in that, I'm not opposed to that. Although I really want to see, something good. Right. Screw finish. Possibly.
Go on, bring it up.
Coming to the very end of the stream, and it is a quiz. 10 questions, 20 points, and there is a tiebreaker. Keen, you better have pen and paper. Callum, you may need one.
I don't have a pen and paper. I didn't come prepared, but
All right, we'll do it. We'll just do it as
My phone's died, so I can't do it on that. So I'll have to open another tab.
We'll do it as speak. We'll just do it as speak out. That's fine. We'll just do it this way. We'll see who does it. So I'll ask. We'll just go for each question. Like I'll ask Keen. If Keen gets it wrong, then I'll ask Callum. We'll do it that way. So question 1 is worth 8 points. The Royal Rumble has been won by 8 superstars more than once. Can you name all 8? Start with you, Keen. So it's more than once.
Triple H, Shawn Michaels,
Correct.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
Randy Orton.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan. John Cena.
Yep.
How many do you have so far?
You have 6.
Batista.
Yep.
Who else? Rock only won it once.
Andrew, I can confirm you have 4 points on that one. You've got 4. You're only missing 1. And I'll just say them again. The ones you've got Orton, Cena, Batista, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, and Hulk Hogan.
Did I say Shawn Michaels? Yeah. No.
You said Shawn Michaels, yeah.
Did Bret Hart win it twice? So was one of them a draw?
Bret Hart was it was class of a draw. They gave him and Luger the win.
Oh. I'm trying to think that this is just actually annoying me now. I'll take the 7 points. I don't know who the other one is.
Okay. I will throw this to Callum. At the minute you've got 7. But if Callum can name all 8, I will award all 8 points to him and deduct your 7. It's got to be because this is controversial. So Callum, all you've got to do is name the last one. So Keen's already given the 7. If you can name the last one, you will steal all 8 points. If you get it wrong, I will reveal it, and Keen will get a 7-point advantage.
Oh, I've got 2. I'm wondering if it was a really early one.
Andrew, I can confirm that is correct.
I can't believe that.
Yep.
No, I missed that one.
Yep. Yep.
I can't see the comments. Is it? I've wrote in our private chat Roman Reigns, but I've gone with either him or Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan was the man to win the very first Rumble. He never won it since. Reigns won it in 2015. Hasn't won it since. The final man, funnily enough, we spoke about him at the start of the show.
Edge. Oh, I was going to say Edge, and I thought he only won it once. Fuck's sake.
So that is 7 points to Keen. So I'm just going to note that down just beside, just so we've got a better record. So I want to make sure it's fair, so I can give you your tallies at the end, boys. So it's Keen. We'll just do it as a tally because it's easier. 1, and Callum is currently sitting on 0. So I gave Keen the question the first time, so we'll just alternate back and forth. So Callum, Question number 2. What is the most common entry number to win the Royal Rumble?
Is it number 27?
It is number 27.
Bastard.
So he typed then like
Here is a tricky question. Yep, Vicky, 8 out of 8, well done. Niles says he's on. I got 10 out of 10 easy. There was only 8. So there's only 9 points awarded so far, so you can't be on 10. Not yet, anyway. Question number 3, just for you, Keen, to answer. The WWE title has changed hands 9 times at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Who was the first man to win the title at the pay-per-view? Was it A, Ric Flair, B, Sergeant Slaughter, or C, Macho Man Randy Savage?
Flair was 92, so definitely isn't Flair. I'll go Sergeant Slaughter.
That is correct. Sergeant Slaughter won the title from the Ultimate Warrior at the Royal Rumble 91, which
Set up Hogan, does it?
which set up Hogan at WrestleMania 7. Correct. That is another point for yourself. So Keen is now on 8 points to Callum's 1. Question number 4. This is for you, Callum. Which superstar won the Royal Rumble in 2000? Kane, Chris Jericho, or The Rock?
was it The Rock?
It was The Rock.
God, I confused myself. Proper doubted it.
Never doubt. Question 5. This is for you, Keen. Who is the heaviest Royal Rumble winner?
Oh, I think I know that one.
Heaviest Royal Rumble winner. It has to be Hacksaw Jim Duggan, is it?
That is incorrect. Callum?
Oh, it's probably
Is it
Delta.
Yo?
It is Yokozuna.
Fuck, I didn't
1990,
even won a Royal Rumble. Fuck.
1993, when Macho Man decided to pin him and then he got flung over the top rope by a prone Yoko. Question number 6. This is for you, Callum. The tradition of winner versus champion, so winner of the Rumble versus the champion at WrestleMania, began at which Royal Rumble pay-per-view? So when did that tradition begin? Which Rumble? And if anyone in the live chat gets this as well, I will be very impressed. Also, keep your score tallies, guys, for what you've got, and then tell me at the very end, and we'll measure up.
Was it 89?
That is sadly incorrect. Keen, do you want to hazard a guess?
That 1994?
You were so close. It was actually the answer to the previous question. It was Yokozuna's Rumble in 1993. Well done, Andrew. Well done, Andrew. Give yourself a point. So there's no points for that one.
So what am I on? I'm what, on 8 and Callum's on 2, is it? Or
You
3?
are on 9. Callum is on 3. Yes. Question number 7. This is another multiple choice question, lads. The Rock became the first man to win the WWE title twice at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. But who did he beat? Was it A, Triple H and CM Punk, B, Taker and Mankind, or C, Mankind and CM Punk?
Is that for me, is it?
That's for you.
Mankind and CM Punk.
That is correct.
The chair shots from hell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Question number 8, which funnily enough is a follow-up to the last question we've just had. Question number 8. The I Quit match in 1999 between The Rock and Mankind had a controversial title change. How did it happen? And that's for you, Callum. How did The Rock win the title from Mankind at the Royal Rumble?
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to give up on that one. I don't know.
Okay, I will take that pass as a legitimate answer. That's fine. Keen, you want to hazard a guess?
Oh, was that by the steel chairs from hell? Was that when The Rock was repeatedly hitting him with steel chairs and it got stopped?
Nope. The correct answer is they used a voice recording of Mankind from when he was on Heat. They recorded his voice shouting, "I quit" on Heat, because remember, Mick Foley was unconscious at the time. So they used the voice recording to award the victory. So that's no points there. But there is at the moment a 6-point gap. So there is a chance, depending on how this one goes, you might be able to nick all 5 points here off Keen Callum. You might be able to. Question number 9. How many women have entered the men's Royal Rumble match? And I want you to give me the number, and I want you to name all of those participants, and I will give you a point for each. So there's 5 points for this question, and that's for you, Keen.
For me?
Mm-hmm.
So there's Beth Phoenix.
Yep.
China. Karma. Beth Phoenix, China, Karma. Nia Jax.
Yep. That is correct.
Who have you said so far, Keen?
I've said China, Beth Phoenix, Nia Jax, Karma. Oh. There's one more, isn't there? Oh, who was the other one? Oh, fuck, this is hard. That's all I'll give. I don't know who the other one is.
So you're going with 4.
So I've gone with Beth Phoenix, China, Karma, Nia Jax.
And how many women do you think have entered overall? Because remember, you get a point for listing the number. How many women do you think have entered the men's Rumble?
I'll go 4.
I can tell you that you have accumulated all 5 points.
Yeah, I didn't think there was one more. I thought
At the moment, only 4 women have entered the men's Rumble officially. That is, as Keen said, that is China, followed by Beth Phoenix, followed by Karma, and then Nia Jax. So at the moment, I don't want to say whitewash, but in a way it kind of has been. But still, it's all about the taking part that counts. And the last question, I'm going to give it to you, Callum. This is a multiple choice one. The fastest Royal Rumble elimination remains Santino Marella at 1 second. But what was the second fastest elimination? Is it A, No Way Jose and Warlord? Was it B, Mo, Woods and Owen Hart? Or was it C, Titus O'Neil? A, B, or C. If you want me to re-say them, I can do that.
Is it no? Oh, I really don't know. I'm between 2 of them. I'm going to go with a gut. I think, is it No Way Jose?
You are actually correct.
Yeah, No Way Jose and Warlord, because they always used to say the Warlord's record in the commentary.
Yep. No Way. So No Way Jose and Warlord was eliminated at 2 seconds.
Yeah.
King Mo, Xavier Woods and Owen Hart were eliminated at 3 seconds. Titus O'Neil was 4 seconds, the same time period as Luke Bushwhacker.
Oh yeah, maybe he got clothesline, then he.
That's right. That is correct. So I can confirm the scores. I do have a tiebreaker question. Should I do it and then just make out a 21? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Just for a laugh, because we're not really going to need the tiebreaker. No offense.
Well, it doesn't help that King got 8 points.
No, he got 7.
Yeah, well, he got 7, but still.
If you got the last person.
If you had guessed Edge, you would have. If you had guessed Edge, you would have taken all 8 points.
Yeah,
so it would have been vice versa.
Bullshit.
So quick. I'm just going to give you the quickest man to shout it out. Just the quickest man to shout it out. The most Royal Rumble eliminations combined.
Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar.
40, isn't it? Oh,
what was it, Cal?
I misheard the question. Sorry. Go on.
The question is, who has the most Royal Rumble eliminations combined?
Overall in one match or over like
Overall.
Kane and Roman Reigns 11-22.
If you had just said Kane, you would have got the answer. Because Kane has 45 Royal Rumble eliminations.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, I misunderstood that question. Apologies.
What are you getting so angry about? What are you getting so angry about? It's a legitimate quiz question. Also, you never really had a very short elimination in the Women's Royal Rumble. So you can't exactly have that as a question.
No, you haven't actually, have you?
So it's not exactly sexist, as the live chat saying. There's never been a very fast women's elimination. Because the closest you're going to get is Zelina Vega, but she had a fair bit of time in her. So there you go. So the scores there were Keane, the winner, with 14. Callum scoring 4. Let's see who done well in the live chat before we wrapped up. You can. No, we can't. I want to see who done well in the live chat. So guys, present your scores and don't worry, there's no accusations of cheating in here. Every time I hear that, like the messenger thing, I always think it's Sue. See what I mean? Exactly. Andrew gets 8 out of 21. That's impressive. Good score. Good score. I will note that down. We'll just see the contrast to our panelists. So Andrew got 8. Just wait for the rest. So Vicky and then Andrew Wall was there, so hopefully he can give me his score. I done amazing. I do. Carmella was the quickest. Carmella, like, what was her time though? Because I can't remember. But next, if there's more women's eliminations, I will include it. And I would like to know your score. So, what was your score? Andrew Wall had loads. Yeah, he did. Nobody needs to look at quizzes. Nobody needs to look at their phone. Andrew Wall did very well. I'm assuming he got close into the doubles, maybe. Less than 140. So that's, in terms of timing, you couldn't put that in comparison to these ones then. If it's 1 minute 40, you can't put it close to like 2 second or 3 second eliminations. Vicky saying she got 2 wrong, so Vicky's got 19 out of 21. Looks like we may have to do champion versus... We may have to do Vicky versus Keane at some point, unless Andrew Wall pops up with 20, that he wins the overall quiz this evening. But from the panelists, I will award the victory to Keane. So well done, sir, on that one. Well done on that one. And yes, we are wrapping up. So guys, as always, thanks for tuning in to the weekly Steelchair podcast. It's been an absolute buzz. The Royal Rumble is starting in just over 1 hour's time. Get over there, get it on, get buzzing, get drunk if you have to. You probably will, like for one match. And of course, my edits are always on point. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We do appreciate it. And Andrew says he got 10 or 11. That's fine. Good score. I will just devil's advocate. You said first 10, so 10 it is. It's been an absolute brilliant stream. And before we go, can I get you guys to shout out your socials and Keen, any channel updates for yourself you want to shout out?
Yeah, so you can catch me here on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk, mostly on the Weekly Steelchair podcast. The channel is back now full time, so the Talk League podcast is back. We have new people run the channel. I'm not going to be running the channel as the forefront man anymore, so I'm obviously going to pop my head in from time to time, but we have new people run the channel. So do check out this podcast, the Talk League podcast, and our basketball podcast, Lions and Buckets. And just let you all know, I'm going to drop it in there as a little announcement, but there's also a boxing podcast coming soon here as well. So do check that out here on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk, and do make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Great platform that we've all built, and I'm delighted to hand it over to great guys over here in the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk. So exciting things coming up. And as always, look, catch me over on All for United. If you want to see me chatting Man United there with all the lads over there, and do check out Devil's Advocate tomorrow night over there at 8:30.
And obviously, he's also on Talk of the Devils. It's another popular YouTube channel. I do recommend that as well, which does have connections to like Man United past and present, like Phil Marsh, Lee Lawrence. Also has Wayne Barton, who does a podcast on complete United history with Paddy Barclay. Fantastic streams
Paul
there.
Parker as well.
Yeah, Paul Parker, Magic Merlin himself. It's all there, like Gordon Hill. It's always fascinating. Callum, back-to-back podcasts. Fair play, mate. You've been absolutely brilliant tonight. Thank you for coming on. Can I get you to share your socials and any updates from yourself you might want to shout out?
Yeah. So obviously follow me there on Twitter. You can see I've had a little bit of a break. I've been very injured recently, but I seem to be slowly returning back to some appearances on YouTube. So you can catch me over on All for United every now and then, talking all about Man United and getting annoyed at everybody as usual. You can follow me Twitter, obviously. See me getting annoyed at the Tories and at United and idiots on YouTube in general. And yeah, get watching All for United because you'll see me quite a bit more on that whole. Obviously, I may even be on McKean soon as well. So yeah, but thanks for joining all us tonight. And I'd love to get back onto this. I always enjoy being on here. So make sure you follow these platforms as well, guys.
And this is a work event, guys. We're having drinks here. It's a work event. And this is not a party, guys. This is not a party. It's a work event. And it's social drinks in a working environment here on YouTube.
And as always, I'm the good guy. 12 a.m. sharp. 12 a.m. sharp. And yet he likes United, hate Tories. I fucking hate the Tories, put it that way. If they all burn in hell, I'm supporting it. Anyway, this has been...
Viva la Revolution.
Yeah, as long as we can chop some heads off. Anyway, appreciate it, guys. You have all been amazing. If you can like, share, and subscribe, once again, share this all over your socials. Most appreciate it. We do love the community. Anybody that wants to come on, like I said 45 minutes ago, if you do want to come on, just drop Keen a message, drop myself a message. I am not going to say no. It's great to have more like wrestling fans talking on the channel. We've had several before. There's more on the way, especially that are on regulars from our own channel that you may have seen before. They are going to be on very soon. So that is the plan. But from us, it's been an absolute blast. Thanks very much. And hell, you never know. Hornswoggle might win the Royal Rumble. Anyway,
Heard it here
night,
first.
folks. Yeah, exactly. You heard it here first. Night, folks.